is Heather. This is Padfoot. Do you remember that we talked about American Sign Language the other day? So let's practice. Ready? So we would go, hello, my friends. My name is Miss Heather, E-A-T-H-E-R. And his name is Padfoot. Remember that? Man, I still have to practice, but I'm working on it. How about you guys? I've got something in my eye, so I gotta take my glasses off and rub my eye. See if I can get it out of there. Do you ever get anything in your eye? Yeah. So today we wanted to revisit the story of the Three Little Pigs. So last week, Kinsley wrote a story of the Three Little Pigs. And we kind of talked about the original story about not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. Did we talk about that a little bit? Just a little bit, not a lot. But then we read Kinsley's story about three little pigs and a pirate. Arr, the pirate. So, oh, Padfoot. There you go. So today we have a story of the Three Little Pigs, but it's not the version you're used to hearing. It's from the wolf's point of view. So the wolf is going to tell you his side of the story. So do you remember wolf is this? Wolf. Wolf. That's the sign for wolf. And then I learned this sign for pig. Ready? So you put your hand below your chin, flat, so your palm is down. And then from your knuckles, these are your knuckles right here. From the big knuckles, you wave your hand. Pig. Pig. So it's like not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. Isn't that cool? And dirty is if you flutter your fingers. Flutter, flutter, flutter. So this is dirty. This is pig. There we go. Now we know some of our signs. I like learning signs. Oh, fun. Oh, poppers. But he wants belly rubs. He'll take belly rubs all day long if I would give them to him. Wouldn't you? Okay, so let's read the true story of the Three Little Pigs by A. Wolf. That's who wrote the story. But who really wrote it down and made it into a book was Jon Scieszka and illustrated by Lane Smith. I remember the illustrator is the one who draws the pictures. Now the publisher, what does the publisher do? Remind me? What does the publisher do? Oh, that's right, makes the book. Okay, so the person, the company that made the book, the publisher is Viking, which is a member of Penguin Putnam. Who knew? Where are they from? New York, New York. Seems like a lot of publishers are based out of New York City. The Big Apple, as it were. All right, the true story of the Three Little Pigs. Everybody knows the story of the Three Little Pigs, or at least they think they do. But I'll let you in on a little secret. Nobody knows the real story because nobody has ever heard my side of the story. See how he wiggles his glasses? I'm the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf. You can call me Al. I don't know how this whole big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. Maybe it's because of our diet. Hey, it's not my fault that wolves eat cute little animals like bunnies and sheep and pigs. That's just the way we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would probably think you were big and bad too. Oh, do you see the bunny ears? And a little mouse tail? Oh my. That is a giant sandwich. But like I said, the whole big bad wolf thing is all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. This is the real story. Way back in once upon a time, I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny. I had a terrible sneezing cold, and I ran out of sugar. So I walked down the street to ask my neighbor for a cup of sugar. Now, this neighbor was a pig, and he wasn't too bright either. He had built his whole house out of straw. Can you believe it? I mean, who in his right mind would build a house out of straw? Looks like he's whistling here. So, of course, the minute I knocked on the door, it fell right in. I didn't want to just walk into someone else's house, so I called, Little pig, are you in? No answer. I was just about to go home without the cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. That's when my nose started to itch. I felt a sneeze coming on. Well, I huffed and I snuffed. Achoo! And I sneezed a great sneeze. Oh no, what happens? And you know what? That whole darn straw house fell down. And right in the middle of the pile was the first little pig, dead as a doornail. He had been home the whole time. And it seemed like such a shame to leave a perfectly good ham dinner lying there in the straw, so I ate it up. Think of it as a big cheeseburger just lying there. I was feeling a little better, but I still didn't have my cup of sugar, so I went to the next neighbor's house. This neighbor was the first little pig's brother. He was a little smarter, but not much. He had built his house out of sticks. Do you see how these trees are cut down? And there's the saw he used. I rang the bell on the stick house. Nobody answered. I called, "Mr. Pig! Mr. Pig, are you in?" And he yelled back,
"Go away, Wolf! You can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs on my chinny chin chin."
There's his razor to shave. I had just grabbed the doorknob when I felt another sneeze coming on. I huffed and I snuffed and I tried to cover my mouth, but I sneezed a great sneeze. Achoo! And you're not gonna believe it, but this guy's house fell down just like his brother's. And when the dust cleared, there was the second little pig, dead as a doornail. Wolf's honor. There's his booty sticking up in the air. Now, you know food will spoil if you just leave it out in the open, so I did the only thing there was to do. I had dinner again. Think of it as a second helping. I was getting awfully full. Look at his belly. But my cold was feeling a little better, and I still didn't have that cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. So I went to the next house. This guy was the first and second little pig's brother. He must have been the brains of the family. He had built his house of bricks. I knocked on the brick house. No answer. I called, "Mr. Pig! Mr. Pig, are you in?" And do you know what that rude little porker answered? "Get out of here, Wolf. Don't bother me again." How rude. Talk about impolite. He probably had a whole sack full of sugar. And he wouldn't give me even one little cup for my dear sweet old granny's birthday cake. What a pig! I was just about to go home and maybe make a nice birthday card instead of cake, when I felt my cold coming on. I huffed and I snuffed and I sneezed once again. Achoo! Then the third little pig yelled, "And your old granny can sit on a pin." Oh my, your old granny can sit on a pin? That would hurt. Now, I'm usually a pretty calm fella, but when somebody talks about my granny like that, I go a little crazy. When the cops drove up, of course I was trying to break down this pig's door. And the whole time I was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a real scene. Do you see this microphone? It's a reporter or a journalist. Somebody who's going to tell the news. Oh, there he is in the news. Look, it's called the Daily Pig. On Wednesday, big bad wolf. And the wolf here says, "Wolf, I'll huff and I'll puff." The rest, as they say, is history. The news reporters found out about the two pigs I had for dinner. They figured a sick guy going to borrow a cup of sugar didn't sound very exciting, so they jazzed up their story with all that huff and puff and blow your house down. And they made me the big bad wolf. That's it. That's the real story. I was framed. But maybe you could loan me a cup of sugar? The end. Oh, look here. Jon Scieszka and Lane Smith drew themselves as wolves. Right here. says Jon Scieszka is a writer and a teacher. He lives in Brooklyn, New York with his wife and 2 children. Occasionally, he has been known to howl at the full moon. Do you think that's true? And Lane Smith says, has done many illustrations for magazines, newspapers, and album covers. His first book, Halloween ABC, written by Eve Merriam, was one of the New York Times 10 best illustrated books of the year. Mr. Smith lives in New York City and sometimes howls back at Brooklyn. So they howl to each other sometimes. That's funny. The end. Do you think that this is a real story? Do you think this is really what happened? Or is the big bad wolf just trying to make you feel sorry for him? I don't know. There's more sides to one story always. I could tell a version of a story that happened to me, and somebody else who was there could tell their version, and it could be different, couldn't it? We all have different ideas of what happened. Who's right? How do you know the truth? Is there a truth? Is there a right version and a wrong version? I don't know. That's tricky, isn't it? I don't know. Papa, what do you think? Your version of stories would be very different than mine. Your version would always be, today she didn't give me a treat when I asked. Today she didn't give me a belly rub when I asked. Is that what you would say? Oh, the puppers. All right, my friends, remember, we like you just the way you are. And we love you, too. Thank you for coming.